Yes, sir. This is rossmay with my man Jay Snipes. Generation Motivation, baby. Let's go.
What's happening? It's your boy Jay Snipes, aka the Podcast of the People, back with another episode of Generation Motivation, the podcast. As you can see, I'm doing something a little bit different, this time. I'm actually I'm doing a little video along with the audio. And you know what? I just love the progression of the podcast. Thank you first and foremost for supporting, each and every week. Continue to like, share, post, and listen, you know what I'm saying? And I have this man over to my left, a real talented dude, man. I happened to come across him, on Facebook, and he sent me a video. Man, when I say talented guitarist, doing big things out of San Diego, you know what I'm saying? We're doing a little bi-coastal thing going on right now. I have rossmay. Hey, welcome to Generation Motivation, the podcast.
My man, I appreciate you for having me. Thank you very much.
No doubt, no doubt. Hey man, you know what? Let's jump right into it. First and foremost, I'm definitely a fan. I'm a big music head, and on top of that, I'm a big hip hop head as well. So the video that he sent me to take a look at, I mean, he's rocking with legends. He's rocking with my man Erick Sermon, and hey, first and foremost, let's kind of take it back, man, a little bit. How did you get into music? And then we'll fast forward to everything that you have going on right now.
I would say probably my introduction to music wasn't unlike anybody else. I think the first CD that I bought with my own money was Crisscross.
Oh, okay. You were jumping?
Back in the days. Yeah, right. They got me with that one.
Okay.
And I remember even like trying to rock my clothes backwards the way that they had it, right? So, I mean, honestly, hook, line, and sinker, right? They got me good with that one. Okay. MTV was a beautiful era for music, and back when they played music videos, I should say.
Yeah, exactly.
I just remember pool parties in the summertime with the big boom box and the tape, and having to rewind the tape, and you know what I'm saying? So right. Music was just like it was just the fabric of our culture, right?
Right.
So that's just how I grew up, elementary school style. When I first started getting into music, It wasn't long after that, to be honest. It was around that time. I did my first show in 1991, and it was right after the Chronic had come out, Dr. Dre's The Chronic. And so I bought the single, and we used the instrumental, Nothing But a G Thing instrumental.
Yeah.
And we used that, and we did like Nike came to my school, and they sponsored an event, and they had basically the kids inspired to join like a performance, like a contest, who could do the best song or talent display. So we used that instrumental, and I actually I had a whole crew, and I wrote everybody's rhymes, and I had never done that before. I'd never written a rhyme before. And so I was in 5th grade, and wrote a whole song to Nothing But a G Thing. And it was really cool, man. 1991, I got it on VHS.
Okay. Hey, so you were ghostwriting too? You were ghostwriting at a young age? Okay.
Yeah, I did my own verse, and I did everybody else's verse too.
Okay. That's what's up. So you've always been big into hip hop though?
I have. It's just been, honestly, the vibration speaks for itself, right? But it wasn't just hip hop, I was also a big fan of like some rock music, but mostly like the alternative acoustic music. When MTV Unplugged happened, MTV Unplugged like changed my life the same way that like Ice Cube changed my life, or Wu-Tang, like when the vibration speaks for itself, it needs no introduction.
Right. Hey, so when you saw Lauryn Hill, doing the Unplugged album, man, I know you're like, wow. I mean,
for real.
Yeah, the simple fact that we knew her to be obviously a great lyricist, but to see her actually playing the guitar at the same time while spitting, that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
It honestly was hugely like inspirational. She gets like her and Wyclef, they share like the throne on that for me, because they both were the first to introduce emceeing and musicianship at the same time.
Right.
To me, I had never seen it before that. And then Prince is the only other person that I've seen pop off like that.
Right.
But it wasn't until like this year is when I saw Prince do that.
Okay.
Like an old video, I was like, and it was a trip. It's honestly an impressive thing when you see somebody dig into their bag as an MC while holding down the beat as a musician.
Yes, exactly. That's crazy, man. And you know, and I guess these gray hairs are gonna be a telltale sign as well. But yeah, man, I saw Lauren. You say I saw Lauren in the Fugees, you know, back in the day, back in North Carolina years ago at their peak. And I mean, this is at the point where Outkast was actually opening for them. So, you know, we're talking, you know, way back when, man. And but I've always been a huge fan of hip hop. And, you know, with you growing up on the West Coast, you always have been on the West Coast?
Yeah, I've always been here. I've traveled, but I've always lived here.
Okay. So yeah, because I see the examples that you're dropping about Ice Cube and, you know, Dr. Dre, and, you know, he does a mean rendition of, you know, Tupac on the guitar, man, with the beatbox and the whole nine, man. So it's awesome to see, I guess, how the culture has evolved with the live instrumentation. So are you a big fan of the Roots too? Are we talking about, you know, live instrumentation?
Big fan of the Roots, huge fan of the Roots. I love Questlove style on the drums, and Black Thought, he's definitely a top 5 dead or alive guy.
Oh man, no doubt, most definitely. So how did you jump into actually playing the guitar? So you were writing rhymes, you know, and then what inspired you to pick up the guitar of all instruments?
Well, I mean, I had a couple of best friends whose dads were musicians.
Okay.
And so there was guitars around all the time. My dad was not a musician. My dad was like an athlete. So it was all about sports at my house.
Okay.
And so my life was largely football, baseball, sports. But then when I would go to some friends' houses, their dads had guitars laying around. So I would snag one and I would just play it a little bit and be like, oh, that sounds cool. And then their dad was like, oh, you like that? Check that out. And then he'd show me a couple of tricks. And I was like, yo, this is fresh. And then all of a sudden I'm playing the guitar, with my friends who happened to be like with me all the time, you know? And it was a really beautiful, like, organic evolution, you know, the way that it all came to be. I was lucky to be in the time and place that I was. So, and at the time, back in the 90s, hip hop and alternative, they did not coexist until the Fugees, right? The Fugees brought it. But other than that, it did not exist. And honestly, the way that Lauryn Hill did it was so, like, with so much integrity that, like, I just wanted to be a part of that. I knew that I appreciated it, and sometimes the spark lives, you know, but maybe like the body can't like articulate how it feels, but the spark still lives. I had to get my weight up. And then I bring an intensity, though. I take that formula and I bring an intensity that I don't want to say is unmatched, but my intensity is savage, right? When I go in, it's like I'm going into battle when I'm doing a show. I'm battling. And the battle is to uphold the integrity.
I like that.
That's the battle, is to not allow the degradation of the integrity that the music deserves. And that's where my like intensity comes from.
I like that. You know, and I cannot play an instrument to save my life. I might be able to beat on the desk though and beatbox a little bit, so I can do some stuff like that.
That matters.
That matters. It does. However, oh man, hey, my daughter's nice on the piano, very nice piano. And my son can play the saxophone as well. So it's crazy because I actually watch them practice and watch them perform, And I'm like, how, like, especially with the piano, I'm like, how are you playing the piano? It's not marked. All the keys look the same. Of course, they make different sounds. How do you remember this? She's not even looking at sheet music and she's playing by ear. So I'm just like, you know, for you, did you take like any formal lessons, or was it just your friends, the fathers just kind of teaching you, and then you started to pick up the—
It was just my friend's dad's teaching me, just my friend's dad's teaching me. And then I did take like a couple of formal lessons
Okay.
To teach me to learn to read music.
Okay.
But I didn't follow through, and it was because the process moves slower
Right.
than I wanted as a kid, right? I'm just a kid. And you know how kids are, we're instant gratification. We want it now. And
Yeah.
so you can show me the chord where to put my fingers, and that's cool. But if I have to learn the letter that pertains to it, that pertains to each finger placement, and then be able to read it on a sheet with a bunch of lines and squiggly things, that takes too long. And I really just want to get from A to Z,
Right.
which is to play the music. So now, I mean, I still don't know how to play, or I don't know how to read music, but I hear it and I know where I'm at on the scale. You know, I'm no virtuoso, but I am solid in the pocket.
Okay. Okay. Hey, well, the simple fact that you don't have to necessarily know how to read it to be able to make beautiful music like you're doing, to be able to make money off of it as well.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and, you know, like I said, definitely checked out, you know, I checked out the videos. When I talk about, we're going to fast forward a little bit. When I talk about the legends that he's performed with, he has his own YouTube page or YouTube site channel, and he has his, you know, his Instagram page and some other things, but he has Bars and Guitars, has a very nice following. You know, you go on there, man, you see Ross in the back, you know, playing the guitar and beatboxing. You got Erick Sermon spitting over it. Hey, you see him doing, he has Layzie Bone. He has Mitchie Slick. I don't know if a lot of folks might not know Mitchie like that if you're not on the West Coast, but hey, I mean, you know, so it's just, and then Cannabis, you know, I'm a huge Cannabis fan too. Can I Bust? So when you see the level of talent that he is able to perform with, you know, it's inspiring, you know, for a kid that didn't learn how to read music, you know, formally, but to see how he's progressed to where he is now, I think that's amazing. So what do you, I guess, attest your progression? What do you attest that to?
Honestly, I just, you know, God works, right? So he's been working overtime for me. And what it is I got a vision.
Yes.
That only I have, you know,
Yes.
and it's clear as day.
Yes.
And that is my job here, is to complete my mission, you know, and my mission is to uplift the voices that need to be uplifted.
Man, oh my God. Keep going, man, because you're speaking directly to me. That's the whole purpose of this particular podcast. But go ahead.
You know, I've had my time, you know, with my own voice. I still use it. Like when I'm when I'm performing, I'll do a 3-hour show of my own music where I spit, rhyme, sing, and beatbox, you know?
Yes.
And it's quite, I call it acoustic hip hop. It's hip hop,
yes,
but it's acoustic.
Yes.
And I started Bars and Guitars several years ago, and I love it because it's not me. It's me and someone else.
Yes.
I have a special talent, you know, to be able to play the guitar with a hip hop twist that provides like the backdrop, the perfect presentation for hip hop. And if I get to present hip hop to the world in an acoustic fashion, that means it's really special, right? There's integrity there. That means I'm bringing a level of integrity to hip hop that it doesn't have by itself, right? Because like when Metallica does all their best music, right? And now they're retired, what do they do? An acoustic album. Or the Eagles, what did they do when they were done? They did an acoustic tour, right? So when the greats, when the legends are getting their flowers while they're still alive, they go acoustic. And hip hop does not have that.
Right.
They weren't hip hop wasn't given that luxury until I came along. So my goal is to give the lyricists that changed my life
Right.
their flowers.
Yes.
And to gift back to the culture the integrity that it deserved the entire time.
Right. I like that, man. I like that. I like the fact that you're walking in purpose first and foremost. And when you walk in purpose, man, anything is possible. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
You have a vision. You may not necessarily know all the steps to be able to bring that vision to fruition, but the fact that you know there are steps and you continue to step, that's
Right.
the first thing. A lot of people,
Right.
man, they have a vision. They don't know how to get from point A to point B. So instead of continuing to make the baby steps, you know, they stop, they shut down, you know. But hey, man, as long as you continue progressing, man, as long, hey, if you wake up and you have, you know, 10 more followers than you did yesterday, you know, if you have a, you know, an act that you book that you're gonna perform with, they don't necessarily have to be, you know, necessarily named, but that could be your best performance, and that could be their best performance,
Right.
and be the one that changes the whole scope of everything. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we look at, you know, the platform of these celebrities and say, if I could get such and such on it, you know, if I could get a Jay-Z to spit over this and that, but hey, it might be that hungry MC that no one really knows, and he's killing it, and you killing it in the back. That's the one that changes everything. You know what I'm saying? It's all about destiny and walking in purpose, man. So
Yeah, man, that hunger is what it was built off of.
exactly.
You hear Method Man talk about it, a lot of legends talk about it, but when you start eating too good, you're
Right.
not hungry no more.
Right.
And you stop being inspired to write from the belly of the beast, which is where it was born.
Right.
And so I stay hungry. And the only reason is because my vision isn't completed.
Yes.
My mission's not done.
Yes.
You know? So I am always unsatisfied. I'm okay with being unsatisfied. I'm okay with it, but the hunger lives, you know? It drives me. Like, yeah, we just dropped the cannabis episode, but I did 2 episodes with cannabis. I'm like hungry to drop the next one, you
Right.
know?
Right.
And I just filmed with Planet Asia.
Okay.
And we did 3 episodes, and they are so fire.
Right.
I've got big ones in the bag just coming. My first time I went viral beatboxing and playing the guitar and featuring an MC was 2015.
Okay.
And that was when the world was like introduced to beatbox, guitar, hip hop, right?
Okay. Okay.
So Lauryn Hill brought the art of acoustic hip hop to the forefront.
Yes.
And so she's like the queen.
Yes.
And the way that I flipped the formula to make it my own was introduced in 2015 when I popped off, and it went viral. So it was like, you know, a couple million views with Team Backpack. I don't know if you remember Team Backpack. They used to feature MCs across the globe, legendary and hungry independent artists.
Okay.
And they would travel the world and feature MCs globally. It
Yeah.
was an amazing platform. I don't know what happened to Team Backpack.
Okay.
I have no idea what happened to them. They just poof, just disappeared.
Yeah.
And that kind of sucked. But you know, they gave me my first jump off.
Right.
They put me on, dude, and they didn't even know me. You know, actually, what happened was I featured one of their favorite guys.
Okay.
And so they're already invested in this MC. His name is UTK, Universe the King. Check out Universe the King. He's the guy. He's the one I featured on the Tupac track.
Okay. Okay.
So that video was 2015, and it went viral with Team Backpack.
Okay.
So that was the jump off to featuring MCs over an acoustic. Like, people didn't do that before. I mean, yeah, you had Lauryn Hill doing it on her own.
Right.
And for decades, I've done it on my own too, inspired by. But the beauty of Bars and Guitars featuring an MC and allowing me to beatbox and play and become the beat. I live the beat. I am the beat, right?
Right.
Then that gives the MC a job, a very clear parameter that what's your job? This is my job. Your job is to do what you do best.
Right.
Hammer time, go, you know?
Right. Right. So what was your, I guess, what was your first legendary act that you featured?
I would say Pace One of the Outsiders.
Yep, Pace One.
Yep, he was the guy, because right after I was trying to pop off with my first official episodes of Bars and Guitars,
Okay.
and was meeting some opposition at home. People were like, "Oh, well, show me the format, show me the format," and I didn't have the format. I was trying to film my first episode, and I need someone to do it, right?
Right, right.
So, I mean, I had been like, in my community, that was a little frustrating, because for the last decade and a half, I have been straight dunking in everyone's face
Right.
for every week, right? Everyone knew exactly what I was doing. You see me beatbox and rhyme and play. You see
Right.
me do this. You know what I'm about to do. Don't ask me what I'm about to do. But they were like, they want to see the format. So I had to revert back to my 2015 video with UTK, the first viral video that I did with the Tupac tribute.
Okay.
And I said, this is the format. And so I presented that to Pace One, and he was down, because that video went viral. So of course, Pace is like down to make content. You know what I mean? He's
Right.
an MC who's still an MC.
Right.
He's still hungry. Pace is still hungry. I got featured. The way I met Pace was I ended up on a tour in the East Coast called the Full Blast Booking Tour for Life.
Okay.
Tour for Life is mental health awareness, suicide prevention, right? So all the shows were pro bono. We didn't get paid. All the proceeds went to mental health awareness, suicide prevention. Well, Pace One was the headliner for the tour.
Okay.
Now, that was 2019. Rewind to 1999, straight 20 years prior, right? I saw Pace One in San Diego with Eminem before Eminem's album had just come out. All we had was "Hi, My Name Is" from Eminem, right? I went, somebody got me a ticket. I didn't even I wasn't really that big of a fan at the time, because all I heard was "Hi, My Name Is." And it was kind of cartoony, so I wasn't really a fan.
Yeah.
But I got a free ticket. I slid, and there's Pace One. I was like, who is this guy? He was burning up stage. I couldn't even deal with it. This guy was so good.
Right.
His performance, his energy was amazing. Pace One, bro. Who is this guy? And then I heard him on the radio in San Diego, and that never happens. San Diego is the black hole of media non-exposure. You will die unexposed in San Diego. You could be Beethoven, and
won't get any play.
You ain't getting nothing in San Diego. You're from San Diego? Yeah, go die in the corner. Oh, you're from anywhere other than San Diego? How about some radio time? How about some airplay?
Exactly.
I can't even deal with it. So I mean, it's changing now because of a couple of pillars of the community that are actively making an effort to support San Diego artists in San Diego.
Right.
But being like next to LA like this, it's not the look.
It's not
right.
Right.
But we're talent heavy though. It's extremely talent rich, and it is a really. I love growing up in San Diego because it made me a gladiator.
Okay.
There was no carrot on the end of the stick for us.
Right.
But we had to be dope.
Yes.
Or else you don't get to be here.
Right.
As an artist. You don't get to be a San Diego artist and suck. You just don't. And there's no carrot. That means there's no world tour. There's nobody scouting us, right?
Right.
They want LA. They don't want us. But you know what? We're the true savages, though. I'm gonna keep it 1,000. And LA will tell you that San Diego is savage. Yeah. So, and I had to embrace that as a piece of myself, and it actually became a point of pride. Like, yeah, it's ghetto and it's tough, but like, I wouldn't change it.
Yeah.
Because it built me as an artist, as a man, Right. So that's why when I hit Tour for Life on the East Coast and met Pace One, I knew I was ready to stand with the legend. I had told him, I said, I saw you in '99. I've been a fan ever since. I'd like to invite you on my show. And he was like, okay, bet. And then he saw me play, and then he was like, okay, definitely. Okay. And then so it was a vibe. Now him and I are linked up for life.
That's what's up, man. That's dope. That's dope. I love the fact that you use your talent to make an impact in the community. We were talking about that. And like I said, that's the whole, platform for the podcast to begin with. tying yourself to a cause bigger than yourself, with the mental health awareness. And I know you've done some other performances as well. Don't be too shy and modest on it. Go ahead,
Mhm.
on a little bit, man, on some of the other charitable acts that you've performed.
Well, yeah, I've had a lot of friends, die. Either it's gang violence or it's mostly gang violence. And so every time that this happens, I get the tap on the shoulder to perform for the fundraisers and the benefits to keep their families, on top of things during the transition, right? And
Mhm.
so I've done this countless times, and it's an honor to do it. Like when somebody dies and they're telling or their story is being told through music and a performance and an event, to be invited to be a part of that
Mhm.
is an honor. It really is. So I've done a lot of fundraising for families that lost loved ones, a lot of community members that have died. Also, I was a part of founding Toys in the Hood, which is a toy drive out here in San Diego. And I'm sure that name is being used across the world. It's too catchy for someone else
I
to not
know.
get.
Right.
So Toys in the Hood, though, right?
Okay.
And me and a friend, Laura Serta, started that. It was really her initiative. She needed a venue. She needed performers. So she had the idea. I said, well, I've got venues. I've got performers. Let's. And
Yeah.
then, I performed at all of them. Ended up helping organize. We drove so many toys to so many communities, not only here in Oceanside and San Diego, but also down in Mexico because it's so close. She
Right.
goes to Mexico, she brings just truckloads of toys down there and just laces them up with toys. We've done so many of these. Toys in the Hood is a beautiful organization that I'm really glad to be a part of
Yeah.
and to see where that goes. What else have I done? I've done a lot of breast cancer awareness, the Susan G. Komen, a lot of that. That's a yearly thing. Every year that comes up. There's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and so I donate my services to that all the time. I've done songwriting and teaching classes, like at schools. I've been asked to teach kids how to write songs and kind of give them some inspiration. I've done a lot of motivational speeches when it comes to music performance. My old high school has asked me to speak to the kids about being a performing arts person, but also an athlete and a scholar at the same time. So how these different worlds can come together, and to show kids that adults can be well-rounded in a way that's not been done before,
Yeah.
that we're capable of more. So I've been tapped on the shoulder to show the next generation what we're capable of as people, So because it's clear that I've pushed the boundary and that I've found new parameters
Mhm.
and I seem to make it look doable. I don't want to say easy, but definitely doable.
Doable.
And, you know, it's
That's
that's just a
awesome.
few off top.
Yeah.
There's more
Oh
because
no, that's dope, man. And like I said, we're all here for a purpose, man. We're all here for a reason. And
Mhm.
the fact that you are able to identify that and amplify these purposes using your platform, I think that's special, man. I think if more people are able to find that within, because we all have a platform. I'll say this, 100 times a day, man. We all have a platform. Some may be grand, some may be small, but we all have the ability to reach others. You know what I'm saying? So we have power in our platform. So it's up to us to be able to identify it and use it effectively, man. So
Mhm.
I don't want to take up too much time. I want to wind down. I asked two questions of everyone as I wind down. First question is, what do you want your legacy to be? What does Ross May want people to remember him as?
Well, it would mirror how I described why I do bars and guitars,
Mhm.
and it's to use my special talents, my God-given gift, to uplift the voices that need to be uplifted.
Mhm.
And I want my legacy to speak to that. I want to, not only to that, but also to the integrity that I fight to uphold and lift. I want to raise the bar. I want the bar raised for us as people. I want the bar raised for us as a culture. We need it if we're going to survive, if we're even going to have a culture.
Right.
You know,
Right.
we need to raise the bar. And my legacy will be that I raised the bar and I uplifted the right voices, because I'm cherry picking my favorite voices to uplift. That means that I'm the curator. That means that I'm the director, and I choose what voices get to be uplifted. And I'm here to do the work.
That's okay. Cool. I like the fact that, you know, like you said, man, hey, you are able to cherry pick, and I mean, you've you know, forged your path, you know, and so you deserve that, right? You know, hey, look, I love what you're doing here. I think you need a little bit more exposure. I like the platform that you have here. Hey, let's link up and do some things, man. So I think that's dope, man. I think that's dope. Final question. With it being Generation Motivation, the podcast, I always ask this question. How do you feel as though, and it normally goes kind of hand in hand with the legacy part, but how do you feel as though you're motivating your generation and generations to come?
Well, through example.
Okay.
You know, so I have learned that words are like toilet paper. Just flush them. You know, if you want to know what somebody's about, watch their actions. And so I am carefully choosing my actions to speak the volume that I need to be spoke at, you know? So my work is supposed to speak for itself. When somebody sees me, especially a young person, they see me, it's going to look overwhelming. You know, how did he get there? How did he get so far? How did he get that idea? You know? But the truth is that everybody has a vision that only they have. You know, it's the one that won't leave you alone. It's the one that nags you, you know, every day, every night. The one that you wish you were tackling instead of your 9 to 5, right? I wish I was working on this.
Exactly.
Well, that's where you should be at, right? We all have bills to pay, and I understand it. And the young people, this generation is going to have to grapple with making ends meet in a new way, right? In a way that we didn't ever know. Hopefully it gets easier for them. But the way that I want to motivate the generation of today is through doing the work and showing that there isn't a shortcut. That as people, we create our existence. And so I'm trying to create an existence that betters the entire planet for generations to come.
I love it.
So, you know, if they adopted a similar mindset and rinse and repeat for generations to come, then the integrity and the bar continues to rise.
Yes, I love it, man. I love it. How can people connect with you? Your social media, hashtags, or you know, all that stuff, man. Not hashtags, but you know, your social media handles.
Well, I would say people should connect. Hashtags are great. Hashtag bars and guitars.
Yes.
Hashtag acoustic hip hop.
Okay.
You can find me, and if you don't find me, you'll find some amazing material in there. But you know what? I like to direct people to the Instagram and the YouTube. I'm really pushing Bars and Guitars, the brand, right now on the channel.
Yes.
It's bigger than me, right? So if you connected with Bars and Guitars Official on YouTube or Bars and Guitars Official on Instagram, you're gonna find me. Okay. Right? So I don't have to promote my pages anymore. I'm promoting this channel because I'm on the channel. You'll find me. But on the channel, you find legends, Cannabis, Erick Sermon, Pace One, Mitchie Slick, J.O. Felony, Mr. Little One, Mr. Shadow, all kinds of independent, hungry artists that stepped to the plate and got busy. Yes. You know? Yes. And so it's a beautiful thing. It is quite the melting pot because I've got independent, hungry people. I've got legendary people. And there is no platform that offers that exposure. Because, like, let's say Layzie Bone's video is going to bring me 5,000 subscribers. And those 5,000 subscribers find Johnny Hungry guy,
Right.
the independent.
Yes.
Well, he benefits from that, you know, and he did it by being hungry and holding it down, and that's why he got cherry picked, right? So independent guys have a shot.
Exactly.
And on Bars and Guitars Official, where it's equal opportunity, everybody, you just have to be dope.
Hey, that's it.
You simply have to be dope. That's
exactly. Hey man, I definitely want to thank you first and foremost for joining, joining us on Generation Motivation, the podcast. I love what you're doing. I love the message. I love the movement. I love the hip hop. I love the acoustic guitar. I love the beatbox. You are hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So, hey man, continue to, just continue to use your platform and make a difference, man, because that mindset, that's what we all need to not only survive, but to thrive as well. So it's definitely been a pleasure, having you on the podcast, man.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Hey, do you think you can maybe take us out with something on the guitar, man? Look, a little something, man. Let them know what Bars and Guitars is all about.
Let's see here. You know I got something.
I know you got something. I know you do.
There we go. It's pretty, right? No man alive could stop me. Probably because my crew's so motley. Levitation of the beat so godly. You got we on part in the sea. We spreading our wings. We flying high above the trees and the fake MCs. No lawman can make whatever top guard these. Fire descend upon them at 1,000,000 degrees. The earthquake turn a skyscraper into debris. Government officials convert to refugees. The hypercanes holding your bridges like origami. Nothing cleanses the sins of a man like a tsunami. But yo, we wait for peace. Like visions of Gandhi to the demolition's done and don't plan on stopping. So where do we go? Follow water sheeple, reclining at home, oblivious, eating Cheetos, continue on the path of destruction and feeding egos. Post-apocalyptic, are we amigos, right? Hey, I'm a writer.
I love it, man. I love it. Rossmay, ladies and gentlemen, please support Bars and Guitars, man. Please hashtag and follow. And hey, man, this man has the vision, and we definitely appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you as well, man. It's been a blessing and an honor.